Here we go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Merge Feast. I'm Blake, back with Logan and Brandon. What's up, you two?
What is up?
What's going on?
Oh, another week, another episode of the Merge Feast. So I think that we should talk about some of our favorite players from season 41 and beyond. We kind of came up with a list before the show, but we would love to narrow this down to five of our favorites. So we're going to have a handful more than that to talk about, and then I'm going to want to hear some arguments as to why your picks need to be in the top five. You guys down?
I like it. So this is, just to be clear, this is our favorite players, and not necessarily these are the best players, but these are the most memorable players, some of our favorite players that we just liked.
Correct. Yeah. So, and I think we should maybe exclude winners, because I don't want to get this confused with who played the best game, but more of who was just our favorite that we would love to watch again, most memorable. Could be good memorable, bad memorable, that kind of thing. So
I'm down. Yeah.
I like it.
You want to kick us off, Brandon? Who's your top three right now?
Yeah, so I've brought three to the table that I am ready to vouch for. Let me pull my list up here, and then we'll get ready to go. So I had a lot to go through, because 41 through 48, there's a lot of memorable players, like you said, both good and bad. But the first player that came to mind that I stuck on my list was from season 45, which is the first season we covered on our podcast. And that was Caleb from the Lulu Losers, the tribe that was just a mess. It had the quitters, Sean and Hannah. It had Brandon, Emily, Sabaya, and Caleb. And Caleb kind of overcame the odds, made it to the merge. There was a tribe swap in there, but he's probably most known for successfully playing a shot in the dark and wiping out literally every vote against him. I want to say it was like 11 votes were cast against him at the merge, and he was able to survive. Now, granted, I believe he only lasted one more vote, but to be able to go from this tribe is a mess and they're not going to amount to anything to putting down one of the best moves. Granted, it's a move that is fully up to chance, but putting that up and being able to propel himself forward and at least make him the first member of the jury. Really liked that and liked his energy. I do think he actually came on too strong and didn't manage his threat level great. But just for the sake of being able to play that shot in the dark successfully and being one of, like, what, 2 or 3 instances where somebody's utilized that properly will be something I remember for a long time.
When didn't he bring in Emily?
He brought in Emily, yeah. So Emily, going back to like season or episode 1, episode 2 of season 45, nobody really liked Emily. And Caleb was like, hey, let's just restart with Emily. Brought her in, kind of brought her under his wing, and then she ended up being a fan favorite, so much so that she's on Survivor 50. So, yeah, Caleb, memorable player for me. Obviously, he didn't make it as far as some of the greats, but that's not the list. Next on my list, I would say probably the most impactful player from the new era, and that is Carolyn from Survivor 44. She was known as, kind of a fish out of water, a little bit quirky, but ended up finding her own, getting into a good alliance, the Three Stooges alliance with Jam Jam and Carson, and riding that all the way to the end of 44. I think her finding, I don't know if it was the beware advantage, but it was the bird cage. She was able to get the clue out of the bird cage without anybody noticing. But went all the way to the end, ended up being really impressive, and finding herself. I think she was not finding herself, but being unapologetically herself throughout the entire season, and then being the first, new era person to show up somewhere else on a reality TV show. She was on The Traitors. She killed it on The Traitors.
And she was on there fairly quick, like after Survivor, right?
Yeah, she was on last season, so
Okay.
it's a few years removed. But she's the first player, and she was on with the likes of Tony, 2-time winner, Jeremy, winner, and Boston Rob. So she's up there with the heavyweights.
Yeah.
And then I think probably the biggest miss in Survivor's season 50 casting is the fact that Carolyn is not on that cast. And then I think Q from Survivor 46. I know that they like to pretend that there's not villains on Survivor anymore, but I think Q was a villain, and a fun villain. You see he's kind of cutthroat. He's going to cancel Christmas. The Q skirts.
It's got some good ideas.
Yep. And
Definitely a polarizing person, just from like anybody you talk to. Some people love him, some people hate him, and I found myself loving him some episodes and despising him the next. And so definitely a memorable player.
Yep. Yeah. Really enjoyed him. I know there's the iconic moment with Liz and the Applebee's and the "I'm pissed." I guess to kind of lean into his villain role, it got cut out, but Kinsey, who Q did pick to go on that reward, tried to step out and give Liz her spot, but Q was like, no, I get to decide who goes on this reward, and she's not going. So I just think Q's great, and a great pick to be on Survivor 50, and a really memorable player from a great season. So
Yeah.
those are my three. Those are my opening statements.
I can already tell that this is going to be very difficult to narrow down to 5 if we all have that strong of picks.
Yeah.
So, pressure's on. Logan, you want to go?
So I'll start off. She has already been mentioned. I'm going to start off with Emily. So Emily, for me, she was on season 45. She was, like you said, Brandon, very memorable from the beginning of nobody really liked her. She kind of put her own foot in her mouth pretty quick of just being too out there, but was able
from like the first moment she was on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I push back on that to Bruce? Yeah.
It was kind of crazy to see, and I think that's just who she is, but learning when to kind of be that way. And obviously thanks to Caleb, she was able to really turn it around. But she's one that I think one of the biggest 180s that I've seen, from going not liking her to actually like rooting for her. So definitely on my list there. So next I'll go with Charlie from 46. Charlie was runner-up, and I think technically should have won. Kind of dominated the entire game. I mean, he was great at challenges. He had one of the, I think, best alliances with Maria. Kind of an honorable mention there. Maybe the downfall of why he didn't win there, but just a very well-rounded from the social side to challenges. Definitely a solid player all the way around there, but just memorable for the way he carried himself and actually looking at every situation. And then last for me, I think I'm going to go with Jake from 45. He was a lot of fun to watch, and one that was kind of frustrating to watch as well. He always was right there about to make a move, but just couldn't seem to put the pieces together. And I think he could be a completely different player going forward, but I feel like he was just always right there that you were rooting for him to get one step closer. And I mean, I think he finished third, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe he was a 0 vote finalist.
Yeah. So he obviously made it.
You had Austin and D in the final with him, so it was kind
Yeah.
of hard for Jake to get votes. But I mean, yeah, he was on the bottom for a large portion of the game, but some of it was due to his own doing, and like when he made moves, it was the wrong moves. But it was also, you kind of saw some of that this season, where it's like, hey, we need to make a move, but nobody will work with me to make the move.
Yep. But that's what was interesting. I know we're about to get on a tangent, but that was what was interesting about Survivor 45, was that the Reba tribe was running that season, and you had the Lulu and Bello members that all they needed to do was work together for a few votes. You had Katura that was just tunnel visioned on Bruce, and then instead of like, I gotta get Bruce out. Like, no, you don't gotta get Bruce out. You need to get this alliance out. That's what you need to be doing. So it was like frustrating. That was such a good season.
Yeah, it really was. And I think Jake brought a lot of, I think his like cutscenes and all were a lot of fun. He had a lot of fun sayings and was just kind of upbeat. Yeah, there's definitely moments he was down in the dumps, just the way his game was going, but he was a fun player to watch. So
I like that list. Not as much as mine, but I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, and with Charlie, to go back to him real quick, as soon as you said it, when I think of like well-rounded players, Charlie's name doesn't immediately come to mind, but the more I think about it, the more he was like incredibly well-rounded. I mean, he won some good challenges. The social side was it Ben, where they went like Taylor Swift and Metallica songs for like an hour.
Yeah. Well,
to like having the strongest alliance we've seen. I mean, until Joe and Eva this past season, and I mean, just all the way around was a great, well-rounded player. So I think that's a good pick.
yeah, his relationship with Ben. I know everybody talks about Charlie and Maria, but I think you've seen in a few different interviews and talks that he was actually closer to Ben than he was to Maria.
Yeah.
So to have two legit number ones doing something right.
All right, Blake, what you got?
All right. So number one is Genevieve. I don't know why I liked her from the moment I saw her. I saw so much potential, and I think, and I know we literally just got done saying that we weren't going to pick the best players, but the most memorable. But she was memorable because of how well she played the game, and I think she was by far the most strategic person in season 47. Now, people kind of figured her game out, and she played so hard and out in the open that kind of put that target on her back. But I am super pumped to have her back for season 50, and I think her strategic gameplay is not easily forgotten.
It'll be fun to see how she plays this round, because it was a big thing with her and not wanting to get deeply invested in relationships and some of that at the beginning, but at the end of that season she was on, she talked about how like she views that differently now, and also I'll be curious to see what her gameplay looks like now, because I think it could be somewhat completely different.
Yeah, I hope that she doesn't steer into that too much and only worry about the relationship side. But she was so strategic, and her mind just seemed to work that way, that I think she'll have a hard time shutting that off. And if she can pick up some social gameplay, she's going to be a fun one. So
yeah, I think, I don't know, not to feed into your list, but I think she's the best non-winner of the new era. So
I would agree.
Isn't she a lawyer too?
I believe so, yeah.
I was thinking she was a lawyer, and that's why whenever I was thinking of her strategic and able to think of ideas and come up with, plans, and I don't know. I feel like that obviously comes with being a lawyer sometimes, but no, she's good.
Number 2 for me is Jessie. I still think Genevieve is probably the best non-winner, but Jessie was up there for me. And maybe what was the most memorable is he had his ride or die with Cody, and then Cody cut him loose, and or no, was it the other way around?
So Cody gave Jesse his idol.
That's right.
Jesse played.
That's right.
Cody's idol against him and sent Cody home.
Yeah.
So in a way, yes, but
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, was just one of my favorites that I remember watching, and somebody who I was really, really hoping would be on season 50 that's not. And I think, Brandon, you said earlier, he was one of the people, like one of the finalists, and ended up getting cut from it. But I don't know. Yeah, I would love to see him play again. It was a lot of fun. And then number 3 for me is Saul from season 47. So I've got 2 from 47. I remember, like, you and I, Logan, talking so much about Saul and just the kind of person he was. Not to add a 4th to my list, but kind of the other memorable person, unfavorably memorable person would be Rome from that season. And just the way that Rome treated Saul and how Saul handled himself in like every aspect, the poise, the how calm he was, just the wisdom, it was awesome. And I would love to listen to a podcast if he has one. So
the way he dressed, I mean,
yeah. And everything about the guy, I'm like, I just like, I like who he is, even beyond a player, but more also as a person. So, and sometimes it's hard to tell that about somebody in the confines of the game, but he was one that was like, you can just tell the kind of person that he is. So
nice. I like it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a good list.
Well, Blake, your list sucks. Brandon, we'll remove one off of yours and we'll just keep mine.
I like it. That's fair. That's a wrap.
No, I'm just kidding. I would say, what if everybody had to remove one person from their list and we go from there to come up with removing one final person from every, like, does that make sense?
Yeah. I can do that.
I can too, and I may have to disagree with some of you guys, if that's all right. Because Brandon, I know who I would cut from your list right off the bat.
All right, I'll go first. So
All right.
I hate to do this because this was my first winner pick on our podcast, but Caleb's got to go.
Yep.
Because as I'm speaking about it, Caleb is known for the one move, where Carolyn and Q are both very polarizing figures. And I think if we were going to walk down the street and ask people to name, or do you remember this player, I think they would remember Carolyn and Q before they remember Caleb. So unfortunately, it is an easy cut, but big fan of his game because I just remember how much fun we had covering that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's who I would say that I would eliminate from your list, and actually for different reasons though. So the other most memorable person from that season, or one of the most memorable people, Emily, I don't think would have been nearly the player that she was and as likable as she was if it wasn't for Caleb bringing her in. But I think Emily outshines Caleb.
I would agree.
right, I mean, I think there's a reason that one's on 50 and one's not.
Yeah. I'll go next. If I had to cut one of them, I would cut Saul. I just think, like, gameplay and who I would want to see and watch again, I can't put him above Genevieve or Jesse. No.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the only pushback I have, not enough to try to sway you, but I look at Genevieve and Jesse in a very similar way.
Valid.
I could see that.
So that's the only, like maybe cut one of them.
Okay. Well, hey, we're gonna get down to 6. We've got to get down to 5. So
Yep.
if we're cutting one from each, we may still come back. So,
For me, I think this one's fairly easy for me. Cutting Jake.
really,
I think so. With how well-rounded Charlie was, it's hard for me to cut him. I like him a lot. His social game was phenomenal. And then just with the way Emily had the complete 180 from day one, nobody liking her, and completely the opposite at the end of her game. And whenever Brandon said this earlier, or maybe it was you, Blake, who would I rather like watch in an upcoming season? I think I would rather see Charlie and Emily again rather than Jake.
I disagree, but
Who were you gonna remove Charlie?
I would remove Charlie and keep Jake.
I agree with Logan.
I think we've seen all that Charlie has to offer.
Okay, I guess before you make your final decision, just remember the criteria: best player, most memorable player.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents. Do you remember
I'm
Jake more, or do you remember Charlie more?
Yeah,
Sticking with it.
sticking with it.
Okay. You can be wrong.
You're not just wrong. You're stupid.
All right, so I have Carolyn and Q left. Blake, you have,
Jesse and Genevieve.
and then Logan, who you got?
Charlie and Emily. So we got to cut one.
Oh, this is where it gets tough.
It does.
Now, I am just going to pitch again the Jesse Genevieve thing. I do think that they're very similar as far as their gameplay goes. I think they're two of the best to do it so far in the new era.
That's where I'm at too. I think, and between the two, I think Genevieve is more memorable. I think Jesse is absolutely memorable, but
Is that recency bias though,
I was just gonna say the same thing.
or is that you remember her game better? Because for me, up until Genevieve, I thought Jesse was the best player by far in the new era,
okay.
and honestly thought he was a lock to be returnee season. So I think Genevieve is a great player, and it's very well documented how we feel about her. But I do think her even getting on 50 might be recency bias.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I had to pick between one of the two, and I'm going to ask you two to do the same, and then we can kind of narrow it down from there. But if I had to pick, I think with all that being said, I would keep Jesse and cut Genevieve.
So it's really funny. Having said what I said, I would almost still rather have Genevieve on the list. I was just kind of trying to play some devil's advocate there for Logan. I think for me though, this is where I need to change my mindset. Is I just think Survivor 47 is a better season than Survivor 43, and I think that also helps the way that I feel about Genevieve versus Jesse.
So, and I think the reason that I would probably cut Genevieve over Jesse is, I mean, we didn't start covering Survivor, at least on this podcast, until 45, right?
Yeah.
And so from 45 on, I remember everyone much better than I do like pre-45.
Hmm.
And Jesse's the only one other than Carolyn left that is before season 45.
Okay.
And I don't know, for somebody to still be that front of mind
All right.
7 seasons ago, I don't know.
Yeah, I like that, but we don't have to make a decision
Okay.
yet, because we've still got more to talk about. So let's go through mine. I've got Carolyn and Q. It's tough. Same for you. Carolyn, all these years later, I think is still just one of the, like, again, I'm just thinking of Billy on the Streets. Hey, name a random Survivor player from the new era. I think a lot of people are going to just Carolyn. Carolyn sticks out. She sticks out. She is herself. She played a great game. She played the Traitors. She's you know, she's memorable.
Yeah. Yeah. Between the two of them, I feel like I would remember Carolyn's game and just her as a person more than Q. Mm-hmm. Q's hard to forget. I'm not saying I'd forget Q, but between the two of them, I would have to agree.
Same.
All right. Let's jump over to you, Logan.
Charlie
and Emily.
Between the two, I would say getting rid of Charlie and keeping Emily. I think she's, in the sense of memorable, yes, Charlie was a great player, but I think just everything that Emily had and all, I think would be keeping her. But I think making the case for Charlie over, say, Genevieve or Q, I would take. But
you would keep Charlie over Genevieve or Q?
I would consider keeping Charlie over Genevieve just because Genevieve and Jesse are so alike for this list.
See, but just because they're alike doesn't necessarily make me want to cut one of them. I think if I was going to cut somebody and narrow it down to 5, I would cut out Q.
Why?
To me, I think the other players are just more memorable. And see, this is where it gets tough because I remember Q for some bad things.
But there's nothing wrong with that because
for sure.
Because you remember Emily for some bad things.
True.
I would lean Charlie because Charlie, for the most part, played a good game. He had the Taylor Swift moments, but Kinsey was remembered for her social game. Q remembered for all of the great moments and polarizing moments. If we're just talking about Survivor 46, Maria snubbing him on a vote, that's almost more memorable than Charlie. Why do we I don't know if we remember Charlie if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and would we remember Charlie if it wasn't for Maria?
Yeah, that's the thing is, and I'm guilty of it too. You said it earlier in the show, Logan. Charlie should have won 46, but he didn't because Maria voted him out. So is Charlie memorable? Or is he memorable because we all think he got snubbed?
Well, I don't like either of you right now, so.
I mean, at this point, I don't even care about.
No, absolutely, and
I people in there, and
I would agree with what you guys are saying there. I definitely can understand that based on everybody else. Definitely, I would be fine with eating my words and removing Charlie.
I mean, the only other one that I think I could put in there, and I'm just arguing random stuff at this point, but is Jesse memorable because of what happened with Caleb, or not Caleb? Cody. Gosh. I mean, shoot, is that why I remember Jesse? Because of how close he was with Cody and how all that went down. And possibly, is that okay?
But that's a move that he made where you're like, Jesse. That's Jesse,
true.
Right?
Yep.
Right.
No.
Good point.
Hear me out. Honorable mention. Put him in the list. Jelinski.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
I mean,
he's on every list forever. I mean,
he's on several lists.
From the most memorable to the worst to it never ends.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be the most memorable first person voted out ever, right?
100%.
So. Yeah. But yeah. But yeah, it's tough. Let's talk about Emily.
Okay.
Why keep Emily, Logan?
I think for Emily, whenever I think of her, I think it was one that nobody liked her. And for her to have the complete 180, we were rooting for her. We wanted her to stay. We actually were fans of her. I don't know. I think that just to have the gameplay flip and to be able to adjust mid-season like that was pretty incredible. Because I don't feel like you see that big of a gameplay switch or adjustment from a lot of people in Survivor.
Yeah, and I would say in kind of a similar boat as Carolyn, whereas like Carolyn really had to find herself and be okay with being herself and being a little weird and different. And you could kind of see that character development and just how she developed as a person and a player. Emily took that to the next level, and going from somebody memorable that we don't like to 2 weeks later, like, maybe we like Emily. And then a week later, it's like, okay, yeah, I really like Emily. I hope she does really well. And I don't remember a player ever having anything like that, especially to those extremes.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I could see the argument, and not that we're going to place like rank from 1 to 5, but I could see her being towards the top of the list.
I can tell Brandon doesn't agree.
No. I just wanted to hear your just more on keeping Emily, because I think she's a no-brainer for the list, because I don't think you think about, like, if you think of Survivor 45, she's, other than like Dee, Austin, Julie, and Drew, Emily comes to mind pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is tough. So, all right, just for a refresher, we've done a lot of talking. The players left: Carolyn from 44, Q from 46, Jesse from 43, Genevieve from 47, Charlie from 46, and Emily from 45. We need to cut one player. That's all we're trying to do.
So the only two that I'm like 100% locked in on is Carolyn and Emily.
Like, those are locks for most memorable.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do that. So, are you comfortable with that, Logan?
I'm good with that.
Lock in Carolyn and Emily. So that's 2. We need 3 more. I feel like you conceded really quickly on Charlie, Logan.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come back to him, because we're stuck on. Because I think I guess we're stuck on the rest of these players.
I mean, Genevieve and Jesse, I could go either way on. I think you could talk me into either one of them, but I don't know.
So
I could also.
Do you think this is how the Survivor 50 casting people felt when they were like, oh, well, we got Jesse and Genevieve. We can't really have them both. Let's just go Genevieve because she's more recent. Do you think that's how they felt when they were casting?
Maybe.
I bet they ramp it up and like, okay, who else do we have? Who can we see her pairing up with? Who's she going to clash with?
Yeah.
Like personality traits, like that kind of. I bet they ramp it way up with millions of dollars in production behind them. But that's probably where it started out. It's like, ooh, these two players are really similar. Do we really want both of them?
Yeah.
Convince me on Q.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
I think he is one of the most polarizing players. I would put him up there with a kind of coach vibe, not as extreme, but just completely entertaining. I think we had a love-hate relationship with him as an audience. He was sometimes the best, like, oh, I can see this guy going on a run. And then he also kind of, if things were down, he would be really down and like, just vote me out. Like, the guy tried to quit almost. He's like, just vote me out. It's, but the Q skirt, that being an ongoing thing, and canceling Christmas. I know that's all things I already mentioned, but I think being the closest thing that we're going to get to a villain is another big thing that sticks out with me for Q. But that's right.
I say I'm good with Q being a lock in there. I think Q I'd be fine with keeping.
I'll sign up for that.
Where I'm kind of at right now, obviously we have Genevieve, Jesse, Charlie, and Q. I would be fine with leaving Q in there, and then it being up between the last 3 of who gets the final 2.
Tell me why you don't want Q, Blake.
Oh, I'm not saying that I don't. He's a different memorable player than the rest of them. And just from the polarizing aspect of it, but I'm good with locking in Q.
Let's do something. And
Rock
Here's what I'm thinking. We have Q from 46 and we have Charlie from 46.
So I was just going to say the same thing. And between the two of them, who's more memorable in that season?
If you were naming the cast of players from 46, who comes to mind first? Right? But this is where it's tough. Is we could just, if we were in a deadlock, we could just be like, well, who's on Survivor 50? Oh crap, they're both on Survivor 50. So never mind.
Right. Yeah, I mean, let me just name some. So I've got the list from season 46. Let me just name some of these people. We had Jelinski, obviously, Banu, Hunter. Forgot about Hunter. Tiffany, Q, Liz, Ben, Charlie, Maria, Kenzie. Right now, if I had to pick top 5 from what we have left, I would be Genevieve, Jesse, Carolyn, and Emily. And Q. And Q. Yeah, sorry. I would cut Charlie if it were me.
That's where my head's at.
I could be good with that.
But I feel like you got to fight for Charlie more, man.
I mean, I definitely want Charlie to be on there. I think he was definitely memorable, but he was definitely memorable for being obviously a great player. I think some of the other people are memorable for moves and being different. I think he was just well-rounded all the way across and didn't have anything that really, like, hey, this move was because of Charlie or something like that, where some of the other people absolutely had some more standout moves and different things like that. I mean, absolutely a phenomenal player, but I think some of the others just stand out a little bit better in my mind. Sorry, I don't fight for my players enough.
No, yeah, that's true. My final kind of pitch is we have 3, I think, really great players. And not that Q's a bad player. But Jesse, Genevieve, Charlie, great players. I don't know where I was going with this, but...
Well, I mean, and in the sense of Charlie and Q, we have, like you said, we have Genevieve and Jesse that are great players. Charlie's a great player.
We've had a lot of Charlies.
Yes, and having Q on there rather than Charlie, I think he's a different, memorable, like you said, kind of that villain-esque and some of that. I think he fits for this list, so it's not the same people or same outcome of the players, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if we have it narrowed down to that, Jesse, Carolyn, Emily, Q, and Genevieve, that would be a player from season 43, 44, 45, 46, and 47, right?
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Not done on purpose.
No. But I do like that, not having 2 people from the same season. So Carolyn 44, Emily 45, Q 46, Genevieve, and Jesse from 43.
Yeah.
That
I
would
like
be my
it.
top 5. And only putting them in that order, like Jesse, Carolyn, Emily, Q, Genevieve, just based on like the seasons, not necessarily 1 to 5 or most memorable, least memorable kind of deal. But
I like it.
Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
It's a solid list.
Yeah, I don't have any qualms about it. I don't think I would switch anybody out. There's definitely way more memorable people than what we mentioned. Like as I was reading through the list of people from 46, like Hunter. I completely forgot about Hunter, which is probably why he didn't make my list as most memorable.
Yeah.
But that was somebody that was like, dang, I really liked Hunter.
Yeah, I was even going back to 41, thinking of Shannon Ricard and Shan like kind of having her own music that they made, and Ricard being, at the time, I thought Ricard was the best player in 41.
Yeah.
I don't know if his game has held up in the new era from what we've seen, but definitely a memorable player from that season. Jonathan from 42 stands out. Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I am too.
Nice.
Well, if you guys are tuning in, which I mean, I hope so, because I don't want to be talking to nobody. But I would love to hear. You don't even have to come up with your top 5, but I would love to hear. Who's a couple of your most memorable people, and
I want to hear your top 5.
Okay, narrow it down like we did. But yeah, I mean, who are some memorable people? Did we forget anybody? Leave anybody out? Do you disagree with our list? I would love to hear some feedback there. So, well, I haven't talked to either one of you about this, but I'm gonna throw something out there.
Oh no,
he's quitting. No. So
he already
last
got
week,
fired. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
he can't quit.
You can't fire me. I'm union. No. So Brandon, I think it was it last episode or maybe 2 episodes ago? You had talked about the Survivor card game.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it, and Logan and Sydney came over and played with us. Absolute blast, and I cannot wait to play with the parents. And I'm just going to say I'm undefeated at this point. I've only played 1 game, but I had nobody voted out.
1 and done.
Yep. So
I almost got you.
Hey, let me come over for game night, and I'll take
Yeah.
3rd.
Deal.
I will say, Blake, and you have to. I feel like you have to give it to me. My plan going into that tribal that kind of ended the game was very, very solid. The only thing that
it was good until it wasn't.
So
it's true.
Who? What was the order? You won, obviously, Blake. Who was second?
Jess,
Okay,
my wife.
my wife. What
and
team
it was
did you
me
take,
and Sydney.
Logan?
I was 3rd,
Okay.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
it was fun.
It was. You were kind of tied for 3rd and 4th because it was a double elimination. And
Yeah, that's true.
Double tribal, and you and Sydney both. We voted you both out.
But no, it was definitely a lot of fun, and like you said, Blake, I am very, very, very excited to play it with Mom and Dad in Colorado. But great game, highly recommend it.
Yeah. So speaking of Colorado, we will be out of town next week, so we will not have an episode, but we will be back the following week. So taking a week off. But back to what I was going to say. Sorry, that was kind of a chasing a rabbit. I would love to give away a Survivor card game. So if you don't have it and you want to play the game, let us know. Reach out, comment, email. I would love to give away a Survivor card game. So if that is something that you would like or interested in, shoot us an email and put together a little drawing, maybe before season 49, or maybe partway through 49. So sometime this fall, do a little giveaway for somebody that wants it. So
I like it.
Can we afford that? Blake's.
I got you. I mean, it was only what, $67?
Is that how much you paid for it?
No. It was like $20. It was like $20 on
the
Amazon. It was the deluxe package. No,
The legit edition.
It's like $20. So, so hey,
You got to get you a Survivor card game guy, because the guy you're going to now is next.
hey, I could have gotten it for $5, but it was the bootleg version. So,
Oh,
no, yeah, $20. So maybe we'll give away another one after season 49. I don't know. We'll see. So if you guys want that, let us know, and we'll put you into the drawing. You have anything else, Brandon?
I got nothing.
Logan?
I'm out.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. You know where to find us. Send us an email. That'll all be in the show notes. And yeah, go ahead and say goodbye, Logan.
Goodbye, Logan.